everybody, happy weekend. I hope you're having a really good one and welcome back to my channel. So today I wanted to involve you guys in a little decision making process that I'm going through right now. So I am, and I know a lot of people have like a lot of opinions on this, a lot of people have a lot of experience on this, but I feel that like when you talk through a decision that you're trying to make and like the pros and cons of like each side, it kind of helps you make the decision, I feel. So that's why I'm making this video anyway. So I am kind of thinking a lot about recently whether I am going to give birth in a hospital like it's kind of normal practice in this country, or whether I am going to give birth at home. So let me give you some context as to why I'm in this kind of predicament. I've been doing a lot of research on something called hypnobirthing. You may have already heard of it. It's quite, I don't know, quite popular, I feel. But I've been reading a book on hypnobirthing, and that's kind of the angle that I would like to take for my birth. You can take it to an extreme point where you're like fully hypnotized when you're giving birth. I'm not going to do that, but I am going to be using like the breathing techniques and the relaxation techniques, the visualizations, the kind of positive affirmations and all of that kind of side of it. So I would like to achieve a completely natural birth that's kind of calm and confident and relaxed. So that's kind of the thing that I'm going for. So this is where the dilemma of like hospital versus home comes up, because in the book that I've read and through the research that I've done, and even talking to my midwife, who is really quite a heavy advocate of home births, I've kind of seen a lot of benefits to home births. But then obviously this is my first baby, and the prospect of not being in a hospital kind of, I don't know, it freaks me out just a little bit. What I've done is I've actually written down a full-on like pros and cons list for each one, and I thought I'd share them with you because again, sometimes talking things through like this makes it clearer. So, and maybe if you guys are having like the same predicament, maybe some of my personal worries and personal kind of opinions towards each one might help you. I wanted to stress that these pros and cons are like my personal pros and cons opinions, and they're not right or wrong by any stretch of the imagination, but they're just kind of me putting what's in my brain down on paper and then filming it for you. I would love to hear from you, by the way, if you've got any positive experiences of hospital births or home births. Comment them down below and leave them down below, because I really want to read about some positive experiences of both and kind of weigh those up as well. Let's start with hospital. We are lucky enough because our hospital actually has like a midwife-led birthing centre attached to the labour ward, which was quite attractive to me, because it's kind of a home from home. It's really relaxing. They've got birthing pools, and that is quite attractive to me. Sorry about that, I just had to charge my camera battery because it was like flashing at me, and I was like, oh crap, I've got so much more to say. So I've forgotten where we were now. These are what I've come up with. Like, there's some really silly ones on here that you're probably going to think, well, that's not important to consider, but I don't know, I've just written down what's in my head, and hopefully like some are more kind of strong than the others. For pros, and this is like the main one for me for hospital, I think, is that I will feel more safe. I think with doctors being around and equipment being around, I feel like I will feel more safe at hospital than I would do at home, although I've kind of heard that like even if an emergency did happen, the setup time would be kind of like the same amount of time as it would be for me to transfer, really. So I don't know. I feel like in my head I would feel more safe at hospital. There's more options for pain relief. Obviously I don't know how my body's going to cope with labour. I don't know how I am going to cope with labour, whether I'm going to have all these really great intentions for like a natural hypnobirth thing and then get to it and be like, I need an epidural, crap. The rooms are a bit more spacious. Not that my home isn't spacious because obviously we'd have the whole house as opposed to just one room. I feel like, having looked at the pictures of the birthing centre, the rooms seem really open and airy and light, and I don't know, they just kind of make me feel comfortable actually, and I'd be able to walk around and kind of be a bit active, whereas at home I feel like I've got so much furniture and so much clutter that would maybe stress me out a little bit, I don't know. This is a stupid one, but I feel like the pictures would be better in hospital. I feel like there's like more plain backgrounds, there's probably better lighting there. That's really stupid, I know, but it's a consideration because obviously the pictures that I have with my son, like on his birth date, I'm gonna treasure for the rest of my life, and I want them to come out nice. So that is a consideration for me. Another pro, and this is quite an important one for me, is that it's gonna break up my labour a little bit. I am personally really, really motivated by things that are like, see how long you can do this for. Like, I don't know, I thrive on things like that, and so seeing how long I can last at home and like challenging myself and being like, okay, half an hour more, half an hour more, half an hour more, and trying to leave it as late as physically possible, that really motivates me, that kind of challenge. It kind of breaks up my labour into more manageable chunks. Like, this is my home section where I'm going to try and last as long as possible, and then we've got the hospital section, which is the second half, which is, you know, where I'm going to see my son, which is also motivating for me. So that's kind of a motivation that is kind of in my head as well. Also at hospital they have birthing pools, which I really like the idea of. There's only 2 of them, so there's no guarantee that I'm going to get one, which is a worry, but at least the option's there. Cons for hospital then, I feel like because I'm going for the whole hypnobirthing option, I feel like the transfer there and being there and kind of waiting around and being really uncomfortable in an uncomfortable and unfamiliar environment could really interrupt what I'm calling my zen. Food is another consideration at a hospital. It's not like you can just nip down to your kitchen and be like, oh, I'm just gonna, you know, whip a piece of toast on or have a cup of tea. So one of the perks of a home birth is that you have 2 midwives with you the entire time and they're just looking after you, and that's a real pull factor for me towards home birthing, is that you get individualised attention, whereas at hospital they've kind of got, they may have, you know, several women that they're looking after at one time, and does that mean that they might be later in picking up a complication if something should happen? On to home then, the pros and cons. I'm going to whiz through these because my battery light is flashing again. Pros, it's my own home, I'm going to be more relaxed. Cons is that we live a 20-minute at least drive away from the hospital, so even if we were transferred by ambulance it would probably take at least 20 minutes to get there, and I'm not sure if I feel that comfortable with that if it's an emergency. It's not like it's just like around the corner 5 minutes away. If I'm transferred to hospital, and 45% of all first-time home births do get transferred to hospital for one reason or another, I'd go straight onto the labour ward rather than in the birthing centre, which, you know, isn't ideal for me either. I wouldn't really like to be on the labour ward rather than in a kind of relaxed atmosphere. There's not many options for pain relief. I think they bring gas and air with them, and that is about it. So if I'm really not coping, that's a bit of a struggle. I've never been through labour before. How will I cope at home? Like, that's a real worry that I have. And there's slightly more risk for the baby. I've done a little bit of research and it's a very, very slight heightened risk for your first time baby if you're having them at home. And do I want to risk that? I'm not entirely sure. So they are my pros and cons that I've kind of come up with so far for hospital and home birthing. I haven't yet made my decision. I'm still kind of pondering it over. But talking about it has actually helped, I think. I hope you really enjoyed this video. I will keep you updated as to what decision I end up making in the end. And yeah, give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and don't forget to hit subscribe down below. I will see you on Thursday. I cannot wait. Love you, bye.